Hello, everyone, and welcome to Why Advisory as We Know It is Not the Answer to Increasing Relevance and Value in Your Firm. I'm very excited that you're here with me today, and thank you for the opportunity to present to you. Okay, let's take a look at what you're going to take away from this presentation. Number one, what you think advisory is not what your clients really want from you. Number two, why you don't need to have 10 plus years experience in accounting to deliver high value advisory services. Number three reasons why you don't need to convince clients on the value of business advisory services. And four, why individually and collectively we have a responsibility to do things differently when it comes to advisory. Okay, so who am I? Linda Steffens, accountant, author, and introvert. Three things that I am very loud and proud about. And I do have 30 plus years in public practice accounting. And for the last 15 years or so, I have been researching and studying the accountant profile. So I do refer to myself as a little bit of a strange bird. And why is that? Because at the age of 14, I already knew I wanted to be an accountant. That was the first time I laid eyes on debits and credits and double entry bookkeeping. And it just gave the world a natural order that I had never experienced before. And I have to admit, I was hooked immediately. So that's where my love affair with accounting began. But my story over the 30 years certainly has all the highs and lows of a low budget soap opera, really. But I'm still here and more in love with accounting than ever. Now, I get some funny looks when I say, I love accountants and I love accounting. People are like, really? Why, Linda? Let me tell you why. It's because I see the most untapped potential in the accounting industry. As accountants, you have so much to offer, and you haven't even begun to tap into your potential to help business owners improve their business outcomes. It's also too that you can, when you start to tap into this, that you will have impacts more far reaching than you ever dreamed that you could do. And that's why I am so passionate about talking about topics like this. Okay. So let's take a look at what clients really want from their accountant. So now this data was taken from an NAB Professional Services Key Insights survey into the accounting industry. And it indicates a definite trend towards increasing demand for accounting services that focus on business improvement. According to the survey, 1 in 5 SMEs would like advice on financial future and growth opportunities on top of the services that they already receive. A similar proportion would like to receive help with their business strategy, and at least 1 in 10 would appreciate assistance with business planning, business analytics, budgeting, and forecasting. Now, this is not new. I could pull up half a dozen surveys that say the same thing. The kicker is that you and I both know you're hearing this directly from clients. And if you're not paying attention and hearing it, then you will be experiencing it in your client's behavior. Okay, so if that's what the stats tell us, that clients want these advisory services, well, what happens when you offer it to them? Well, I talk to a lot of accountants exactly about this, and this is what they tell me, that clients don't seem interested, they don't want to pay for it. Now, you know these services will help your client, but you just feel like you're trying to sell something, and then the client gets wind of that and feels like you're trying to sell something, and then it's all just downhill from there, really, isn't it? Or I get told, no, I don't do advisory. Senior accountants and accounting teams tell me they don't do advisory, that it's only the directors or the partners that do advisory. So this can't be right. If the stats are telling us that clients want this, why is this happening then? Well, it tells us that we're not meeting clients where they are. Now, clients don't know what they don't know. All they do know is that they want something that will help them with improving their business outcomes. And when a client asks us for that type of help, we get a bit excited, don't we? And we start talking about advisory services and cash flow budgeting and tax planning and monthly meetings. And the light just seems to die in our clients' eyes. That's because all of that sounds a little bit just like compliance, okay? The message isn't connecting. That's what's happening. So our clients feel like we haven't even been listening to them. And then what we find goes on from that then is that they simply stop asking for help. Oh, that's just the worst thing when they stop asking for help. And you know that if someone in the practice is doing advisory well, then they find it really hard to transfer or teach those skills to others in the practice. Now, I know the reality is that you have been listening. You know these services will help your clients, and you so badly want to help that you're willing to give some of these away for free. And you would like to teach your team how to do advisory as well. You're not purposefully holding that back from them, are you? No. Does all this sound a bit familiar? So why are advisory services, as we know them, not gelling with clients? And why can't we teach these advisory services as we know it to our up-and-comers? And more importantly, how do we take advisory services as we know them and elevate them into something that clients will relate to and want to pay for? Okay. So let's take a look at advisory as you know it. So we've established that it lacks relevance and clients put a low value on it. And that's because it feels, sounds, looks a lot like compliance that they don't want to pay for. So it requires some technical skills and knowledge that takes quite a number of years to build up. It most often is ad hoc delivery only. So you only get to deliver it when a client asks for it. And generally, they only ask for it when a third party gets involved, like a bank or a finance company. The profitability around advisory, as you know it, is questionable. Firstly, the reporting's often not there, so for you to be able to even tell if it's profitable. And secondly, if you think about some advisory work that you might have just done recently, a lot of the time we see whip blow out on these jobs and you end up writing it off. So profitability definitely is questionable at best. Advisory, as you know it, is difficult to repeat because each time is different and every client is different. And if it's not repeatable, then it's not scalable either. But what if we could take advisory as we know it and elevate it into something that was relevant for clients, that they put a high value on, that you didn't need any additional skills to do, you could deliver consistently, was highly profitable, repeatable, and therefore scalable. If you could elevate advisory services as we know it, that resulted in improved business outcomes, both for your client and for you, because it's really important for us to help our clients be successful in business, but it's also just as important or more important for you to be successful in business as well. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Okay. But there's definitely a gap between these two. There's a gap between advisory as we know it and these elevated services. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it and be very successful at it, wouldn't they? So what's this missing link? What's the key to the success of taking these services and elevating them? so that everyone is absolutely crystal clear on what these services do. I've given them a name. I call them business improvement advisory. They improve business both for the client and for you as the accountant. Now, I don't have any fancy dancy marketing strategies for you that include 30-page reports for you to sell to your clients. I don't set you up with smoke and mirrors and package services where you can sneak advisory into your compliance work. And I definitely don't have a piece of software that promises to do it for you. Now, don't shoot me down, software providers. We all know that software is a tool. Now, there's some amazing software out there, but software is a tool, and we all know it's not going to do it for you, right? Okay, so what is it then that I do have? Well, I have a process. Yep, a process. Now, this is all making you get just a little bit excited, right? Because you love processes and you can follow a process. To take advisory as you know it and elevate it into business improvement advisory, the missing link, the key to closing the gap, is a process. With this process, you will gather all the information you need to use your existing knowledge and skills to improve business outcomes for clients. So let me make this clear. I'm not talking about developing a whole new set of services. I'm not talking about having to create something new. I'm talking about taking the advisory services that you already have and elevating them so that they become everything in that business improvement advisory circle. So, how do you do that? Well, the first thing is, let's look at that. So, do you have the technical skills to do advisory? Yes, you do. Do you have the advisory services to deliver? For the most part, yes, you do. Do you have a process to follow? No, you don't. But that's where we come in. And one more thing though, do you have the soft skills to do this as well? Well, I say yes. In fact, I know you do. How do I know you do? Because I see it in the students that we teach this process to. But here's the gap. The gap is what you don't have is the proficiency to use those soft skills without a process to follow. Because if the gap didn't exist, then everyone would be successful at this. So the gap is that you don't have the proficiency to use your soft skills without a process to follow. Okay. When you have a process to follow, your soft skills don't need to be developed because they develop by using the process. So you rely on the process, you follow the process, and you will get results. A process is safe and predictable, and the process will work for any accountant with 5+ years in accounting, and it's easily and quickly transferable to senior accountants and accounting teams. Now, you know this is possible because there's people out there, practitioners out there that are being very successful with advisory work already. But for most of us, to become confident and comfortable without a process takes around 10 to 15 years of experience in public practice. And you know what happens then? Well, that's exactly how advisory services get stuck at the top of the tree, where only directors and partners are confident enough or even willing to offer these types of services to clients. I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait that long. And if you're a partner or a director, I'm sure you don't want to be the only one doing advisory services in the practice. All right. But what if you could fast track this to just 12 weeks? Instead of taking 10 to 15 years, just 12 weeks, and we can teach you and your team this process. So you and your team can confidently and capably invite clients into a business improvement advisory relationship from their very next meeting. I do this, by the way. I use this process and deliver business improvement advisory to SME clients on a regular basis. My average hourly rate for this work is around $500 an hour, and all my meetings and services are paid up front or in advance. And you can achieve this too, because you don't have to convince clients about the value of business improvement advisory. By following the process, you will understand why they are in business, and your clients will feel listened to and understood. By following the process, you will achieve a way of communicating that is open and collaborative. And by following the process, you will deliver personalized services 100% of the time, even though you're following a repeatable process that is the same every single time. It's the process that gets the results, not your conversational skills and not your soft skills. So one of my students told me this story one day. She said, Linda, I've got to tell you something. She said, I was using the process with a client and I was doing it very badly. I said, oh, I'm sure you weren't doing it very badly. She said, yes. She said, yes, I was. I was doing it very badly. I said, okay, well, what happened? She said, well, I was going through it and wasn't doing very well. And all I could hear in my head was you saying, follow the process, follow the process. So she said, I kept going. I kept following the process. And I got to the end expecting that the client would go, oh, thanks. That's very nice. Thanks for talking to me. She said, but what they did was they threw their hands in the air and they said, oh my gosh, that was amazing. What are we going to do next? She said, you could have knocked me down with a feather. So it just goes to show that at the start, you don't even have to be good. All you've got to do is follow the process, because the process will support you. And by the way, this is the most rewarding work that I have ever done in my 30 years of accounting. The reactions that I get from my clients just make my heart sing. And I want that for you too. Okay. So, but it's up to you to invite clients into a business improvement advisory relationship. It's up to you to learn how to do this. And having a process to follow is going to make this easy for you. So you can't keep waiting for clients to ask for advisory services, because most of them have given up even asking. It's not sustainable or a scalable business model to wait. You and your team are going to just start to burn out because of being overworked with all this compliance work you've got to do. And then if you're giving away this advice work for free or for not for its true value, you're not going to be able to employ anyone, because we're not attracting anyone to the accounting industry. And it's just going to keep eroding away our will to even do accounting. Now, I can't and won't let that happen to the industry that has shaped my career and that I love being a part of. But I need your help. You've been doing a great job, but I know with this process that we can do a great job together. All right, grab out your phones. It's time to learn more. To learn more, register for our free Advisor Masterclass, and in less than 60 minutes, you'll learn the exact steps to take advisory as you know it and elevate it into business improvement advisory that is relevant and valuable. Thank you so very much for spending time with me today. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you've enjoyed the presentation. Thank you, and goodbye for now.